SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Bank First is a locally owned bank that makes decisions right here at home. Local decisions, local support, and local folks who care if your kid made the team. Stop by your local Bank First branch to learn more. Bank First. Neighbors, bankers, friends. Bank First is a member FDIC and equal housing lender. Bank NMLS 454063.
Pike County. Here comes your morning show. Dave in the morning on 93.5 FM. SuperTalk Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Brown.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any parties. Correct?
No, sir, none is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any conversation.
Then I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, or the accused, or on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Good morning to you. How you doing on a beautiful Tuesday morning? It really isn't that bad. Yesterday was not bad temperature-wise. We can knock about another 15 degrees off of that. We'll be in pretty good shape, I think. Our forecast for today does not knock 15 degrees off of anything. In fact, we're moving in the wrong direction. 94 for a high today, 95 tomorrow, 95 Thursday, 94 Friday, and then by Saturday and Sunday, and you get the idea. We're going to stay in the mid-90s all the way through. Once again, it's August. It's the beginning of August. This is the time of year where we get this every year. Not much rain in the forecast, I'm afraid to say. We've got a little 20% chance on Thursday, on Saturday, and then through into Sunday and Monday. But nothing to hang your hat on. Nothing to get excited about. Yay. If you like it dry, that's fine. I haven't seen any official notification yet, so I'm just going to give the Dave notification. Don't set any fires in the yard. I know we just had some rain last week, but it's drying up quickly, and honestly, that rain wasn't enough to make up the difference. So, just be extra careful setting fires out in the yard. I've got a hose, Dave. No, you don't. I mean, you've got a hose. You're not going to control it like you think you are. So keep that in mind. Well, I'm going to burn till they tell me I can't. Okay. How's your house insurance premium? You might want to frame that last one that you got so you can remember the good old days. Or even worse, your neighbor might need to frame theirs. Mo says Attorney General Lynn Fitch, of course, this morning on Richard's show announced that she's running for governor. That brings us up to 3. And Mo says, I'm expecting 3 more. Are you over or under on 6 on the ballot? Republican-wise, for the Republican nomination? No, I think 6 is probably pretty dead on. It's pretty close. And I think Richard had it exactly right this morning. You think you've seen political ads. You think you've seen yard signs and billboards and TV spots and radio spots and ads in the paper. You think you have seen times where you were flooded with that kind of thing. We've got heavy hitters getting into this, and they're bringing big checkbooks with them. We are going to be absolutely flooded. And, you know, that does bring up to me a question that I've had for a while now. At what point are we no longer accomplishing anything? When it gets extremely crowded, and everyone has been suffering from election fatigue for a while. You and I have talked about that because we never go a minute without some kind of election going on. We just finished up the Macomb City election. Then next fall, we've got the state and the county elections and everything, all the rest of the stuff. And then the presidential election, and it never ends. And my theory has long been we have election fatigue. When you have enough nonstop continuous noise, you tune it out, right? It's the way it works. And I'm just really afraid that's what has happened to us. I mean, it's, you know, the way things are set up. But I have to wonder if that hasn't contributed to the well, I'll put it like this. I got an update this morning. Got an update this morning on how Jimothy is doing. Have you heard about Jimothy? I'm going somewhere with this. Just give me a second. Jimothy is the little deformed raccoon up in Seattle. He's got short spine syndrome. They thought long and hard to name that syndrome. It's called short spine syndrome because he's, well, got a short spine. He's squished. Saw an update this morning on how he's doing, where he's at. They think they found his dad, who has the same thing. All this information about him. How do I know more about the current location and condition of a deformed raccoon in Seattle than I do a sitting United States Senator, Mitch McConnell? How? If you recall, just saw the news that broke this morning that former Representative Kay Granger passed away. She did not run for re-election last year, and everything was fine, right? Well, for one, with one exception. She had missed quite a few votes, had not been seen on Capitol Hill in months. Sounding familiar yet? Well, somebody dug around and finally discovered, after she had already said she wasn't running again, finally discovered she had been in an assisted living facility for months. Now, she was still a sitting congressperson. We're not going to resign. We're not going to get out of the way so that the voters get representation. No, she just stayed in there. By the way, she wasn't in an assisted living facility because she broke her hip. She had dementia. So we have this continuing problem of no accountability in elected officials sometimes, is what it feels like. Now, state level's a little bit different, but still. All of these stories, and Mitch McConnell going right now, although I expect him to pass away any minute. Yesterday was the deadline for the Kentucky governor to appoint someone or to call a special election. Kentucky passed a state law, and there is a deadline. There is a window. We're now August 3rd was that deadline, so we're now in the window to where if suddenly, by surprise, no one saw it coming, we lost Mitch McConnell. well, we'll just have to make do until the election in November and go from there. So I expect any minute. I literally, I'm not even joking, I woke up in the middle of the night, like 4 this morning, like I was doing the mornings. I woke up and rolled over and grabbed my phone and checked a couple of news outlets to make sure the announcement hadn't been made. That's how strongly I expect this to happen. There are multiple factors as to why we continue to have low turnouts in elections. We've been talking about this for years. I can go back 10 years when I had then Circuit Clerk Roger Graves on the air with me, and he said, well, turnout wasn't what we were hoping. It was right at 50%. That's not bad. When half of the people, and that's a good year, by the way, when half of the people that can vote don't bother, we're doing something wrong. And I'm just afraid that we're overdoing it a little bit. Now, I'm not saying limit the candidates. It's a big election year. We're going to have a ton of candidates. Not just for governor, but for every race in the state. Because, for example, we now have a guarantee we don't have an incumbent running for Attorney General, with Attorney General Fitch's announcement this morning. So there's 2 more coming in from out of the woodwork. And I'm just afraid with the attention spans where they are, plus the continuing evidence that we get confronted with on the national stage, that those people don't care in Washington. They don't care. The focus and the interest is not in serving the voters anymore for a large number of people in Congress. Looking at you again, Mitch. All of that added together has led to half, probably a majority of the people, when it comes to politics and it comes to electing leaders for a 4-year stint, to just go, whatever. It doesn't matter. My favorite political stat, before we go to the break here, my favorite political stat that I have seen in the last week or two is a map somebody drew up showing how many senators are older than Hawaii. Hawaii became a state in 1959. It's 2026. It was not a small number, by the way. Gonna be a whale of a year. I mean, we've got a little break here. We got a couple of weeks before anything gets rolling, but buckle your seatbelt. If you like political advertising, we're about to enter your golden age, my friend. We continue with some local news. If you would like to keep an eye out for a fugitive on the run, you're spoiled for choice right now. We'll talk about that when we come back on SuperTalk Mississippi, Pike County. Keep it here.
Analyzed and diagnosed, overexposed to the undertow. You'll never know it's coming. The numbing. So you meditate or medicate to maintain or to get away, but it's coming. Oh yeah, the numbing.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Settlements, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Settlements. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the Morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on.
I hear the drums echoing tonight, but she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming.
Welcome back. Super Talk, Mississippi, Pike County, 93.5. Dave Hughes here. All right, go ahead and put your spy goggles on. Make sure you're paying attention all around you. We got people on the run everywhere, it seems like. And let's start with the one right here at home. Yesterday afternoon, to be exact, Pike County Sheriff's Office attempted to make a stop. Pleasant Grove community. Well, they tried to stop the suspect they were trying to arrest. He had run. So he did what... I'm sorry. This is my judgment. This is my opinion. Let me preface it by saying that he did what stupid people do. Took the vehicle and rammed it into a Pike County SO vehicle. Then bailed out of the vehicle and fled on foot. Well, yesterday afternoon after that, and I love where we have gotten with law enforcement, because once upon a time, they suspected he had gone into a home there. Thought he was hiding in there. K9 units. The Pike County, I love this phrase. Hold on. The Pike County Sheriff's Office drone team and others zoomed in on things, checked it out, and I believe they have determined he was not in the home, which means he's out there floating around loose somewhere, so keep an eye out. That's not the end of the story we're looking for, but hey, truth is the truth, right? Now, then we've got the one down in Tangipahoa Parish. This one's a little bit differently. You had two guys that fled custody. Barefoot, their hands were handcuffed in front of them, and they took off. Border Patrol had them. And the two took off down around Robert Goodby, around the St. Tammany Parish line. The owner of the vehicle that they pulled over, Cesar Contreras, in custody, cooperating with law enforcement in the investigation. The other one, 31-year-old Elvin Martinez of Honduras, still unaccounted for. He was last seen on a trail camera near Fire Tower Road and Highway 190 down in that area. By the way, just a side note here. If you think there is any place on planet Earth that you're not on camera, you're wrong. Once upon a time, there were plenty of spots where nobody... I'm very early Gen X. Most of what we did was not on camera. Thank heavens. If you're around my age, I know you've given some thought to just how horrifying it would have been to have cell phones and security cameras everywhere, and trail cameras and drones and satellites and UFOs and everything else watching what you're doing. Well, this guy is on the run. He cuts through the woods so nobody can see him. Whoop, trail camera got you. You know right where you were. We're headed that way. They currently have dog teams, drone teams, deputies on four-wheelers, deputies in UTVs, scouring the area. They're going to get that guy, too. Then we had the instance yesterday of someone getting pulled over, and someone getting pulled over. It's not funny. It's not. But it kind of is. And this guy ran. Well, it wasn't really getting pulled over. He wrecked, bailed out, and ran. That seems to be the theme of the week. And we're only at Tuesday. So, Livingston Parish deputy ran off after him. He wouldn't stop. The Livingston Parish deputy tased him. Now, here's the thing, and this is a great example of where people get something wrong. Because I hear all the time, you don't have to shoot people. Why are you shooting them? That's aim for their leg. Okay, number one, shut up. Number two, got a great example of why that's not always the answer. Tase the guy. Tase the guy. Went down. The deputy went up to try to cuff him, and he got the taser away from the deputy and tased the deputy. And then started trying to get the deputy's gun. The deputy got it out, pulled the trigger, shot him. The suspect, from what I understand, passed away last night at the hospital. I'm hoping they're marking the cause of death as self-inflicted wound, because that's kind of what it was. So when you think, oh, they got tasers, just use your taser. That doesn't always work. Especially in the case of dealing with someone who has some pretty potent drugs in their system. Yeah, you hit them with the taser and they look at you and go, ow. It's a little more dramatic than that, but not much. You can't count on that. Sometimes it becomes necessary to pull that other trigger. Got a great example of that. So that is what happened yesterday in this area. Two of them in Tangipahoa Parish, one here in Pike County. 1.5 of them still unresolved fully because people on the run. Where do we go from here? You and I have talked about this quite a lot. We'll continue talking about it until we decide to do something about it. People are out of control. I mean, you've got a mixture of situations here. I haven't heard any confirmation one way or another. We'll probably have to wait on toxicology reports, but I would suspect the guy that got tased and then took the taser away and tased the deputy back was on some kind of substances. So we got substance abuse. We have illegal immigrants, 2 of them, who were in the custody of Border Patrol. They weren't running around loose. They were barefoot in handcuffs, and they got away. And then you've got whatever the situation is with Pike County. Got my suspicions, but we'll just leave it be. You may start to get the impression, if you pay attention, that the human race has lost its mind. Buckle up. Here comes the Dave theory. You ready for this? There's a couple of theories here that kind of intertwine, if you will. And they are as follows. Number 1, humanity hasn't lost its mind. Humanity has lost its ability to process things. Anything. If things aren't 100% perfect, you go off the rails. Whether it be with drugs, whether it be with just ridiculous behavior, whether it be making bad choices that lead to worse choices, and before you know it, you're in too deep to get back out. And you see this everywhere. I'm going to connect it to something that you probably have heard about, but might not be thinking about. The trend is continuing of young people showing up for job interviews in the big cities and their parent coming with them and going back with them and sitting in the back of the room in case their precious snowflake angel needs some help with tough questions. No, I'm not joking. This is really happening. Employers are complaining about this all over the country. We have raised a couple of generations where they cannot process any kind of negative, any kind of stress or strife. You know, the triggered generation. But it's spreading to people older than that. It's spreading to people, you know, all the way up in their 70s and 80s. You've seen it. You've seen the stories as they break. So it's doing a disservice to the younger generation to blame them completely. Because there's a big difference to some of the behavior that we're seeing that's keeping law enforcement going nonstop and having mommy hold your hand during a job interview. Sort of. To me, they're both symptoms of the same problem. The lack of ability to process their emotions. You get one setback, one little challenge, one thing that just doesn't go perfectly smoothly, and people are falling apart. And I don't mean, you know, ripping their clothes off in the parking lot at Walmart and running around screaming, although that's any given day that's a possibility, let's be honest. They start drinking more. They turn to drugs. They start hanging around the wrong kind of friends because they say the things that make them feel better. Or they feel like they don't have anybody on their side. Everybody's against them, it feels like. And they will latch on like a Titanic survivor looking at a life raft to the first person that floats by that says something that makes them feel better. And then they start down the wrong path. All of it comes back to not being able to healthily process your emotions. I mean, it's one thing if it's a teenager. Come on, the hormones are percolating. There is no emotional processing going on. None. You know, you were a teenager once. You know what I'm talking about. But you're supposed to learn lessons from that and grow out of it. And it seems like fewer and fewer people are. So we are left with emotionally stunted individuals making bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. And we're all left to deal with it. And law enforcement has to clean up the mess over and over and over. So I still say that is one of the, it's not the cause. There's no such thing. But that's a big one. That's a big component. The other part, I've talked about this before too. I've upset people with this before. And as before, I don't care. Because you and I kind of have an agreement. You and I have been having these chats for over a decade now. You know I'm going to tell you the way I see it. Am I right 100% of the time? Of course not. No human being is right 100% of the time. But I'm waiting for something to show me that I'm wrong about this one. And I haven't seen it yet. I think part of the reason, a big contributing factor to why people are continually having more and more problems with processing their emotions and just the daily ups and downs of life is that it takes a certain amount of intellect to be able to do that. I saw a stat, and this is worldwide, but I just wanted to throw this out there. Saw a stat over the weekend. Because, and I've talked about it, used to talk about it with Lance all the time, both on and off air. We never stop. In this business, you never stop researching and reading. That's just part of it. My wife got used to that years ago. It's like, you just never stop looking at stuff. No, I don't. And here's a great example. I ran across this over the weekend when I was supposed to be relaxing. It is estimated that worldwide there are 1.7 million people with an IQ below 30. Think about that. 1.7 million people with an IQ below 30. I started researching the rest of the numbers and the rest of the breakdown by different levels. How many below 50? How many below 70? How many below 90? And I got really depressed and decided I would go play a video game. The birth rate is dropping, so is the average IQ. That doesn't get talked about. You have to have a certain amount of intellect to be able to process your emotions and know when to swing and when to walk away. And I think we're breeding that out of the species. Because I'm sorry, if you're so scared, you're so terrified of any kind of confrontation or the most gentle of pushback during a job interview that you take your mama or your daddy with you to your job interview. Parents are also negotiating raises now. It's my favorite. Negotiating raises, negotiating time off, all of that kind of thing. We are not in the best possible place we could be as a species. What's the solution? Well, it's the same problem you have with the crime. There are no solutions that have a really good chance of being effective. that also have any chance at all of being publicly palatable. In this era of victim blaming, goes all the way back to, well, of course she got assaulted. Did you see what she was wearing? It's somehow always now somebody gets stabbed to death on a train, or somebody gets, shot because they were at the wrong In-N-Out burger at the wrong time. Or even worse, in that thing in Indiana, one of the people shot was one of the employees. They were at work, trying their best, doing what they could. Got shot trying to help people get to safety. It quickly becomes apparent to some people, well, they feel like they're in a no-win situation. You're doing your best, you're paying your bills, you're taking care of business, you're at work, you get shot and killed anyway. Why? Because some other idiot lost their marbles. We need to work on marble retention. We're not doing nearly enough to try to work on that. Is it an easy to solve problem? No, but then problems worth solving rarely are. Oh, I have. If you ever wanted to see somebody get run out of town on a rail, I could really go deeper into this. I could tell you exactly what I think about how to solve these problems. But I'm not, because I'm 18 minutes away from getting to eat my Little Debbie's. So I don't want to mess that up now.
Those crazy nights I do remember in my youth. I do recall those were the best times.
We will continue on this Tuesday morning right after this on SuperTalk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Keep it here.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave Hughes here. Remember, every weekday morning at 9:06, it's Dave in the Morning, where we solve the problems of the world, or at least complain about them really loudly and sarcastically. And if you miss out, you can catch up with the podcast version of Dave in the Morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
I would swallow my pride, I would choke on the rhymes, but the lack thereof would remain me inside. I would swallow my doubt, turn it inside out, find nothing but faith in nothing. I wanna put my tender heart in a blender, watch it spin around to a beautiful oblivion. Rendezvous, then I'm through with you. SoCal is where my mind stays, but it's not my state of mind. I'm not as ugly, sad as you.
Welcome back.
Or am I, or
SuperTalk, Mississippi, Pike County, 93.5. Tuesday morning, Dave Hughes here. Another thing that is, I believe, undermining society and the way people are behaving, because I think it's inarguable at this point that things have slipped. We've seen some improvement recently, but things have slipped in terms of dealing with life in general with a lot of people. But then you hear stories like this one. This is the fourth or fifth story involving some type of church leadership that I have seen in the last week or two. This one's in Florida. Sheriff just finished up a press conference about this. Sheriff Grady Judd. They arrested a 42-year-old, Timothy Cheneyfeld, a pastor at St. James United American Free Will Baptist Church in Winter Haven. Listen to the list of charges. Keep in mind, he was also a chaplain for Compassionate Care Hospice of Lakeland. So this is someone going around, and whether you realize it or not, when you're a pastor, when you're in the clergy, you are representing the proper way to live, the right way to do things, right? That's kind of, I know I hear the arguments all the time. Well, they're just human too. Yeah. But when you're representing something, you have to put a little more thought into it. But this isn't even a case of just, oops, forgot to pay for my candy bar at the store. Yeah, that's being human. This individual was arrested with, now, I'm just going to read the charges. I'm not going to opine on it because I don't know the full story, because the press conference has been going on while you and I have been chatting, so I don't have the details. Timothy Cheneyfeld, 42 years old, officially old enough to know better, was arrested and charged with 3 counts of lewd battery of a minor, 3 counts of interfering with custody of a minor, count of unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I assume that's going to be phone related. 3 counts of traveling to meet a minor. 4 counts, are you ready? 4 counts of an HIV-infected person having sex without informing their partner. Possession of cannabis, and 5 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. So you're going to tell me there's a church in Florida that looked at this guy and said, that's who we want leading the flock. This is the best of the best. This goes back to the intellect conversation from the last segment. We're making bad choices. I mean, you look at that list of charges, and of course, innocent until proven guilty, but if you see his mugshot, you're like, oh, yeah. We keep making horrible decisions. Don't believe me? Ask Mayor Mamdani in New York City. We keep making bad decisions. And I think there are multiple reasons for that. A lack of information. Did no checking on this guy, I would assume, at the church. So they did no extreme background check of any kind before putting him in charge of leading the congregation. Don't know what the criteria were that they used to select him. No one was inquisitive enough to bother to try to ask questions or find out, obviously. This all goes back to the intellect question again. Yes, Ronnie, tar and feather. If he's found guilty, that would be too good for him. But how have we reached the point to where we keep having story after story after story of someone who has been elected into a position of authority or chosen to be in a position of authority, picked to be someone that people are supposed to look up to? Now, just using that as an example, but we get these stories all day, every day, all over the country, even here in Mississippi. We've had a couple of those in the last week or two. Down towards the coast, you may have heard about that one. If not, we'll get into it another time because I'm about out of time for today. Let's localize it to his church, the St. James United American Free Will Baptist Church in Winter Haven, Florida. All of the kids, and in that I'm lumping everyone below 18 into the heading of kids, and some older than that. This is the guy that's been preaching to you how to live your life right. This is the guy that has been telling you what you need to do to get into heaven, how you need to live, the choices you need to make, how you need to behave. And then this comes out. Two effects off of that. Number one, anything he told you, you're like, really? Doesn't matter. For all I know, his sermons were dead bang on and he did a good job. He just wasn't living it. But more importantly, every one of these stories that comes out makes it that much harder for the next pastor to have anybody listen to what they're saying, anyone pay attention and try to modify their life based on what they're being taught. Because when it comes to being a pastor, and I have known some fantastic pastors in my life, it's one thing to be able to get up there and talk the talk. If you're not going to walk the walk, you need to shut up. Need to go have a seat. Because any skeletons in your closet, when they come clawing their way out, and they will, skeletons in closets are surprisingly mobile. You're doing far more damage overall to society in general than if you had never stepped up behind the pulpit to begin with. Same can be said for some people in elected positions in this country. And again, we pick on the Democrats quite often because, well, they're wrong. But in this case, the poster boy for really, and we're supposed to think you're there for us, is Mitch McConnell. It's been over 50 days since he's been seen publicly. But like I said, I can tell you what Jimothy the deformed raccoon was doing this morning in Seattle. He found a chip bag. I saw the picture. I know where he's at and what he's doing. That's more than I can say for one of the 100 members of the Senate. More than that, actually, if you start going through and checking. So we need to make better choices. The only way to make better choices is to quit caring about what you're told you're supposed to care about and care about the important things. He's going to preach the word good. He's going to lead people to Jesus. Well, he's also now been charged with allegedly doing a lot of stuff with a minor, including possibly giving them AIDS. Maybe we need to ask those questions along with the other. Maybe we need to ask more questions when it comes to election season, other than what you're going to do about my taxes. We have to do a better job of using that lump of wiggly gray jello between your ears, or things will continue to slide.
If you cried out for more, if you reached out for me, I would run to the storm just to keep you here.
When it comes to somebody that's going to lead anyone, especially children, feelings don't get a seat at the table for the conversation. They can't. We've got to get back to that. Final break, final thoughts after this on this Tuesday morning. Keep it here.
Let me take a step towards you. Let me feel you in my hands. Let me cross this line and show you where it leads. There's a darkness down inside me.
Every now and then, we remind all of you loving, awesome, hardworking husbands that you have a premium it's time to renew. No, it's not life insurance, car insurance, or health insurance. It's way more important than those. I'm Kristen. Gentlemen, it's time to renew those long-term wife insurance policies. When you surprise her with a gift from Selmans, you remind her that no matter what lies ahead, you and she will get through it together. Your gift tells her this long-term wife insurance policy is for life. Renew your long-term wife insurance policy right here at Selmans. We're in it for the long term with you.
Don't escape in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
All right, we have run out the clock again.
Turn all of the lights
Another game
on
done.
for every boy and every girl.
I'll have to wait to see the points tallied up to decide if we won or not, but we'll see. Had a special call meeting of the Macomb City Board yesterday where they hired a special investigator to investigate a personnel matter. And that's about all. It was like a minute and a half long special called meeting. Got a work session tonight. Maybe we'll hear more about it, but I doubt it because it's a personnel matter. You don't get details on those, usually, for very valid reasons. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Stay cool. And we'll do this again tomorrow morning at 9:06. My friend, I'll see you then.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.